Go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. There's no reason to be alarmed. Welcome to Microphone Therapy. I am Joe Spiegel.
I am your co-pilot, Mike Sutherland.
And let's just do this.
Two good-looking guys sharing a cramped office, running the galaxy together, just getting the job done, Maybe we do it occasionally, but it's not weird, because we're just two guys with raging goals,
How are you doing today, Joe?
I'm doing okay. I got my steps in. I did my yoga. I'm good.
What is your opinion on Colin Kaepernick?
Very talented. I think that a talent like his should not be overshadowed by him trying to make a political statement, but I haven't delved too deeply into that to really pay attention either way. I think the guy should be allowed to play football, and I don't see as much of a hullabaloo made about all this as there has been over the last couple of years.
So do you know what Colin Kaepernick's statement was? Do you know what it's all about?
Yeah, it's pretty much he couldn't, it was pretty much, okay, without explaining what I think it is. Yes, I understand.
Oh no, I want you to explain it, please.
All right. He doesn't want to stand up and salute the Pledge of Allegiance, the national anthem, because he's taking a knee for the people that have been suffering forever through mistreatment by police officers
and
of people of color, of course. And so
no. Well, you're on the right path.
Yeah, and so he's taking a knee for those people, because there's injustices out there that need to be acknowledged and dealt with better. And so he's using his position in the NFL as a podium forward to make that statement.
Yeah, I'm not going to stand up to show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. To me, this is bigger than football, and it would be selfish on my part to look the other way. There are bodies in the street and people getting paid leave and getting away with murder. Adding that he would continue to protest until he feels like the flag represents what it's supposed to represent. So, Caepernick kneeled during the U.S. national anthem to show more respect to former and current U.S. military members while still protesting during the anthem after having a conversation with former NFL player and U.S. military veteran Nate Boyer after the September 2016 police shootings of Terrence Crutcher and Keith Lamont Scott. Kaepernick commented publicly on the shooting, saying, "This is a perfect example of what this is about." Photos then surfaced of him wearing socks depicting police officers as pigs. In a statement, he acknowledged wearing them as a statement against rogue cops. He maintained that he has friends, family, and law enforcement, and that there are cops with good intentions who protect and serve, and he was not targeting all police. Okay, so it's been perverted.
Yeah.
Thanks to the NFL, because that's what they're doing, into him not standing for the
national anthem.
Yeah. Because he hates the military, because he's anti-military, he's anti-this, he's anti-that. And none of it is true. And if you've gone through any social media, stuff like that about Colin Kaepernick in the last, it started in 2016, 2017 is really when it blew up, then you would know what all the shit that's been going on, which is, this guy doesn't deserve to play in the NFL because he's against the military, he fucking hates the military, blah, 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 blah.
He's there for a job. He's there to play fucking football.
Right. However, I don't agree with using the NFL as a platform for your political activism.
Yeah, just like I don't go to my work and start spouting off my own beliefs.
Why not?
Well, subtly in the van when I got people that open up in conversation, maybe.
Well, there you go. But yeah, that's what it's all about. You don't use the NFL stage for your personal activism. However, he did, and he's been blacklisted. Now, Colin Kaepernick sued the NFL for collusion. After he sued the NFL for collusion, he won. That means that the owners were conspiring against him to keep him out of football.
Yeah.
And then Colin Kaepernick was supposed to work out Saturday for the NFL. And he decided to not do it, which is very, very interesting. He basically told the NFL to get fucked, but in with lawyer speak. Okay.
Didn't he want to come back to the NFL?
Yeah, he told the NFL basically to get fucked. Last week's strangely timed Colin Kaepernick news did not end with his workout on Saturday. He declined to work out for the NFL. And everybody is complaining about the fact that Colin Kaepernick basically walked away from the workout and he doesn't really want to play. Well, he's been wanting to play for 3 years. He almost signed with Baltimore.
Yeah.
And we didn't know how that ended up. He didn't sign with Baltimore. And then Saturday happened, and then all of a sudden this whole thing is he doesn't want to play. He's not interested. He's just doing this to fuck with the NFL. And that's not what's really going on. What's really going on is...
More collusion?
Yes.
That was just a wild guess. Yeah, I the way I see it is if you have a voice and you have a platform that you could actually use it on, and most people don't have that platform, I can see taking advantage of it, but it wasn't like he was protesting in the middle of a play, like he didn't take a knee, on a down, you know what I mean? He did it before the game, before actual play. So even though I'm not fully in agreement with him doing it, it doesn't really bother me that he did it, because I'm not as over patriotic as other people are, as some people are, where they've got anytime some big event happens in our country where they have to start putting flags all over everything, the false patriotism shit, the over exaggeration. If you don't, speak English,
America,
and all this shit. Yeah, I'm American. I speak American. I pay attention to things more now and certain things, and I don't believe it. The false patriotism is just that's just more, what is it, closed-mindedness. Because if you're so into your patriotism, you're not seeing everything that's going on around you as well, I don't think. Yeah.
This is from an NFL player. At the end of the day, he is one of the hundreds of my NFL brothers who have sacrificed their entire lives to get a chance to represent the Shield. This is Jack Brewer. I don't know who Jack Brewer played for, but that's okay. Unfortunately, 30 minutes before his scheduled workout, all of the joy that I had for him turned into disgust when I realized that his ego was so big that he took for granted the very tryout that so many of our brothers can only dream about. Kaepernick's ego drove him to make this unique opportunity about himself versus making his job interview about how he could become a great quarterback and teammate for one of the 32 NFL teams. As a former NFL player and captain of 3 teams, it's disturbing to see a football player whose ego is so big, he is repeating himself for the third time.
For a second, I thought you had like a stutter.
That even after being given a special workout with 26 teams, he couldn't humble himself enough to respect the teams and league that has provided him with great wealth and a platform to impact the community. First and foremost, Mr. Brewer, you don't know jack shit.
He's just making an assumption, right? He's basing an assumption off of him just canceling the event.
Correct.
Okay. So without asking questions and finding out more information, he's just jumping to conclusions.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's why we have changed up Compelled, because, cannot jump to conclusions about things.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been talking about Colin Kaepernick today until...
all your ducks were lined up?
Until this. For 4 days, the reasoning behind the NFL's breakneck preparations for a Colin Kaepernick workout was a mystery to most anyone residing beyond the walls of the league's Park Avenue office. From front office executives to curious players and even Kaepernick himself, there seemed to be a lack of logic. Why was the NFL doing this, especially after 3 years in a collusion settlement? From Tuesday afternoon to Friday night, speculation was rampant. Maybe it was Goodell trying to make amends, or new league partner Jay-Z trying to build a bridge. Maybe it was an oddly timed public relations ploy engineered to help a team find cover as it mulled a Caepernick signing, or maybe it was nothing more than another miscalculation by a league that has never gotten the Caepernick situation right. Then came Saturday's revelation. This workout was a Trojan horse. And when the belly of the ruse finally opened up, all the lawyers came tumbling out. If you're measured enough to stop shouting on social media about how Caepernick doesn't want to play, you may take the time to notice the actual document exchanges that took place over the past weekend and follow the NFL lawyers. One way or the other, they'll end up making the requests and producing the documents that explain what's going on. The league's legal counselors did exactly that as the week went on by advancing a workout waiver that reached beyond the injury protections that are typically afforded to the NFL and its teams. By now, the NFL's waiver has made the rounds all over the internet, getting pilloried by a swath of lawyers whose job isn't shouting hot takes on morning talk shows. What most of them are seeing is this: a document that pushed past normal injury protections and contained language that, had Caepernick signed it, could have given the league footing to argue that he signed away some of his employment protections. The NFL made some attempts to cover for those efforts, and in a release on Saturday, expressed disappointment at Kaepernick's pulling out of the league's workout. The NFL acknowledged the waiver being a point of contention. There was a key phrase contained in the release. On Wednesday, we sent Colin's representative a standard liability based on the waiver used by National Invitational Camp at all NFL combines and by NFL clubs when trying out free agent players. At noon today, Colin's representative sent a completely rewritten and insufficient waiver. As the guy says, note the phrase, based on the waiver used by National Invitational Camp at all NFL combines. The two words based on are very interesting. Here's why the league had to include them. The NFL used an outside law firm to craft the release for this event. Despite the suggestion in its release, it didn't use typical language in liability waivers. Instead, it went a step further and created its own.
What?
I'm willing to bet that it had everything to do with inserting clauses that could allow the NFL to evade further litigation tied to employment claims. In the middle of the supposedly generous and unprecedented offer to give Caepernick a league-hosted workout, the lawyers slipped clauses into a liability release that could create or would create a foothold to fight against litigation under state and federal employment laws. I believe this is the answer to why the NFL put this workout together. It created multiple outcomes that could all be weaponized against the league's Caepernick problem. If Caepernick said no to the workout or pulled out for any reason, the NFL said, well, we tried. And there would be more than a few media personalities ready to carry that water. Mm-hmm. Jack Brewer. And if by some masterstroke Kaepernick's lawyers said yes to the waiver, the NFL would have a signed document guarding against a lawsuit stemming from state and federal employment law. The workout was the Trojan horse. The NFL's weapon was the waiver planted inside it, and a sweeping victory was one Kaepernick's signature away.
So either way, if he played or he didn't play, they won.
No, they haven't won yet. The NFL has not won. Given the broad language of the waiver, the NFL could have altered any agreements made with Caepernick, regardless of how damaging those changes or actions might have been. For example, the league could have refused to release tapes of the workout with no recourse, or the teams could have been allowed to instruct Caepernick that he would be unemployable if he knelt for the national anthem. The NFL could have instructed all teams not to sign Caepernick following the workout. While all of those sound preposterous and unlikely, the fact that there would have been no repercussions for any of those actions speaks to how sweeping the waiver was. Getting a signature on that agreement blew up, of course. Kaepernick's lawyers and agent received the first draft of the waiver on Wednesday and had dissected the potential impacts of it by Friday. By that point, the NFL knew it was unlikely Caepernick was going to sign it. In the final hours before the workout, the league's lawyers delivered the only message that mattered. The NFL would accept only its version of the waiver, refusing any edits from Kaepernick's legal camp. That made sense considering the NFL hired lawyers to perfectly craft a document for broad protections. It simply wasn't going to allow anything to be changed at that stage, especially when the alternative is Caepernick pulling the plug on the workout, which can be spun in favor of the NFL. Of all the takeaways from this thing, that's the one that resonates. The league went to great lengths to give itself a tangible defense against future litigation, and if nothing else, that shows the NFL believes at least one of two things. Either that Caepernick's settled collusion case isn't the last time his lawyers opened fire on the league, or that the NFL may be vulnerable to a federal lawsuit. Indeed, the league may believe both. Perhaps the collusion settlement was just the start. Maybe the next step doesn't end with Colin Kaepernick on an NFL field, instead engaging the league on a whole nother landscape. in front of a judge and a jury inside a federal court and nastier than ever.
So how much did he win in that lawsuit?
I don't know. Millions.
Well, I would assume so.
That for me, that's unimportant. I don't care.
Probably to cover salary over the certain amount of time he's lost or something.
Yeah, well, 3 years plus whatever.
Yeah.
Plus damages and
yeah.
et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, because I mean, it was assumed he lost endorsements and shit too, right? So.
I don't know. I don't think he did, but he may have. Now, it's easy for the NFL to spin all of this stuff, and it's easier for the NFL to make it look like Kaepernick's a bad guy, when in fact the opposite is true. And the NFL's always done this. They've done this with the CTE stuff. Look at their fucking history. They've done this with people like Lyle Alzado. They've done this with people like Mark Gastineau.
Tell the truth.
It's covering up incidences. They've done this with Kareem Hunt and Adrian Peterson and Ray Lewis and even Aaron Hernandez up until he got caught.
No.
And if he didn't get caught, they would have done the same fucking thing. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't be playing with the Patriots, but we don't know that.
Luckily, they didn't do it with Ray Caruth.
They did it with Ray Cruz.
Did they do it with Ray Caruth? I thought it was just like open and shut quickie.
No. It wasn't an open and shut quickie thing.
Mm.
I mean, he's not in the league anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But they did. I think
they
covered everything up.
Yeah, I think he just got out of prison last year.
Yeah, they covered everything up, even with the Ray Cruz shit. You know, if he didn't go to prison, they still would have allowed it.
Yeah,
they allow domestic violence and abuse partners, like the kicker for the Giants who continually abused his wife for fucking years, like 12, 15 years.
Yeah.
Some amazing number like that. And then finally, when the news media gets out, they fire him after 12 years. But hey, you know, Brandon Taubman, he gets overly emotional and reacts to a guy that, you know, helps them get to the fucking World Series, and he's fired for offensive language.
Yeah.
And the NFL continually covers up bullshit and colludes to keep one guy out that is a political activist. That's bullshit. And it really annoys me.
Yeah.
And the one thing that I read today that really makes me smile is that Tom Brady is totally for it. Totally for Colin Kaepernick being back in the league.
Yeah.
He's silently saying the league needs to get their shit together. He's also kind of wants Antonio Brown back in the league. He's been kind of, because Antonio Brown literally just sent a tweet apologizing to Robert Kraft. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, if he does it to his face, that's even better, because that's what he needs to do. He needs to apologize to Robert Kraft,
Yeah.
to his fucking face.
Or at least fly him down to Florida.
Still needs to apologize to his face.
Okay.
I don't care where you fly him. Florida would be the best spot,
Yeah.
you know, so he can get his massage
His
and everything
jollies,
else.
yeah.
But other than that, he needs to. Antonio Brown really does need to get his shit together.
Yeah, just he needs to quit, you know, telling the NFL to go fuck itself over social media.
Yeah. Well, in 3 days, I'm just waiting for the shoe to drop. In 3 days, he's going to say, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
It'll be something else.
Yeah. Anyways, that's all I've really got for this one, other than if you have anything to add to it.
Well, comparatively, what do you think about Michael Vick? The way Michael Vick was treated?
He should have never been back in the league.
Yeah.
But it is what it is, and they did what they did. So I mean, I have no control over that stuff, and really, I would like to see the NFL do something more about these people. I don't give a shit how quote unquote special you are, what type of player you are.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're gonna beat your kid to the point that they're bleeding, if you're going to get into, I mean, look. The dog fighting thing is a cultural thing.
Yeah.
I don't have any say in that. I don't have a dog in that fight. No, and that's
no pun intended. Yeah, I got it.
But I literally don't. It's a cultural thing. If you're pissed off about the fact that Michael Vick was involved with dog fighting, I'm all for it. If you're not, if you don't care, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't like the dog fighting. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a disgusting practice.
Yeah, especially when you see the aftermath and stuff. It's horrendous. Yeah.
But I don't live in that world. He grew up in that world, so it's normal for him.
Yeah.
So, like I said, and I want to say it's cultural. It's cultural in terms of cultural for him. It's
like
how he
Sharia
grew
law.
up. No. No, will you stop with the dumb analogies? It's cultural for him in terms of how he grew up.
Yeah.
Like it would be cultural for us for how we grew up in the 70s and 80s and skateboarding and stuff like this. Part of our culture.
Or yeah,
Our personal
or like
culture.
if we were in the South and during a certain time, I get it.
No. It's part of our personal culture. Our music is part of our personal culture.
Yeah.
Whatever music that's what I'm talking about. That's how he grew up. And like I said, whether we agree or disagree with it, right? It's illegal for dogfighting.
Yeah.
He got caught. Therefore, and he went to jail for it, and that's fine.
And he lost a shitload of money too.
He shouldn't have been allowed to come back in the NFL.
Uh-huh.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I don't care if you've done the crime and you do the time. Everybody knew that you were doing this, and they told you not to do it, and you went and did it anyways after you were told not to do it.
Yeah. Because
in the NFL, you pretty much everybody knows your business.
Yeah.
In the NFL. Everybody knows your business, from the owners all the way on down to the ball boy.
Yeah, and then they determine constantly what kind of damage control they can do.
Exactly. So with that in mind, anything that gets out, then they immediately drop you. Well, and then there's the redemption factor, that whole redemption story. Oh, well, he changed.
They didn't care about the redemption. They just knew they could make more money off of him.
Right. And that's the problem. So they bring Michael Vick back in. They pay him millions of dollars to fucking play in the NFL.
Yeah. Now more jerseys on another team that they can sell.
Yep.
Merchandising.
And all for what? For staying out. It's just like Michael Jordan being kicked out of the NBA for a couple of years for gambling.
Yeah.
And that was a big cover up too.
Yeah.
Oh, he's playing baseball? Wow, that's amazing. He's a two-sport player. Michael Jordan's like, I retired from the NBA because I've won it all, and now I want to focus on another sport, and maybe I'll go to football.
When I was younger, when it was happening, because I was only what was it? It was 93, so I was like 16 at the time, 15, 16. I always thought it was because he said something in it about because his father had just died right after he won the championship. And he said that because his father wasn't there to cheer him on, he lost the desire to play in the NBA for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah, not getting caught gambling on NBA games. Pete Rose Jr. And that's another thing. Anyways, that's all I got.
So, okay. So as always, tell the truth, stay safe out there, and let's take a knee.
Yeah. Take an arrow to the knee, and then take a knee.
What the fuck does that mean?
Take someone else's knee. Take Patrick Mahomes' dislocated knee.
Thank you for listening.